Okay, we're live. Looks like OBS might be the answer. Not sure if you guys can hear me. If you can, I'll give it a chance to allow some people to jump on. What I'll do is I'll give some technical analysis of Nesara and Gesara. And then if you have any questions, just post them in the chat. YouTube is pretty choppy. All right, I'll go ahead and get started. So let's begin with why the United States of America is in the position that we're in. So, the original Constitution of 1776 was, of course, created by we the people. And we had certain unalienable rights: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness was the most important aspect of the Constitution. And our forefathers wanted to always make sure that we, the people, were in control of everything. And what happened is the Illuminati and Rothschilds and Rockefellers began infiltrating our government. And by the time we moved on to 1871, they had taken many positions and were plotting some things behind the scenes that we were not expecting. And one thing that they did was they took the city of Washington, which was named for George Washington, and they turned it into what they called the District of Columbia. Well, Columbia, if you look up the definition, it means Baal. So, in other words, it was the District of Baal, Baal worship, Moloch, Lucifer, Satan, Asatan, however you want to say it. So the BLM movement, although they don't know it, they're being used for Baal, Lucifer, and Moloch worship. Interesting fact. I'm going to go ahead and switch screens, and perhaps you guys can read what I have here for Nesara. But anyway, so as the District of Columbia was a foreign country on our soil, they knew that they had to change things in order to be able to accomplish their plan of taking over America. And what they did is they created a corporation called the United States Corporation, which allowed them to govern through the District of Columbia without naming it now as a foreign nation with foreign nationalists in charge. And so, with the corporation, you have the president and CEO of the corporation. And every election that we've had since 1871 has been a corporate election. That's important. I'll explain later. Um, it's very important with the times that we're living in right now. So that's how the corporation was formed. And it was all done by the, and I have to be careful here, NW, oh my God, you know the rest. Rothschilds and Rockefellers started inbreeding. You know, family members would marry family members, and they were able to grow their club through incestual relationships. I'm not sure, who knows this is true or not, but so the corporation was formed, and it has stayed the corporation because we've never had anyone other than JFK go up against the quote unquote establishment. JFK was killed because he was going to take us back to the gold standard, which Nesara is, Gesara as well. And GHWB did not want that to occur, so he made sure that Mr. Kennedy couldn't take it that far. Moving forward, DJT was approached 20 years ago by the military by way of Junior, and they asked him if he wanted to be a part of the plan to take down the DS. And I think he wavered back and forth over time. But when the time came, right around 2015, he decided that yes, he was going to make the ultimate sacrifice and become the President of the United States. So he started out as the CEO of the corporation. But what he did was he by way of COVID, on April 1st, 2020, he declared a 50-state national emergency. And this gave him the power, absolute executive power, to then go ahead and return us back to the republic, the constitutional republic for these United States of America. That was done on July the 4th. That's very important that you're paying attention to that, because that's when everything changed. The corporation now had to expire within some period of time during 2020. So, this is where the trap was set. And this is where Nesara and Gesara come into play. General Flynn was the most influential part of Trump's team. And so we had to get him released to accomplish the next part of the plan that was most important. But it started out that Trump went ahead and signed Nesara and put it together before the election. All the election is a sting operation. It's still going on. But how could the election be null and void? Well, you have to go back to the fact that we're a constitutional republic. Once those documents were signed, and once that executive order was in place. Why is that important? Because our election was on November the 3rd. You cannot have a you cannot have a corporate election with a now defunct corporation in a constitutional republic. So everything that you've seen from Biden and McConnell and Pelosi and the 2 impeachments and all these other crazy things that they've been doing, every bit of that has been folly, rendered null and void. The election is a farce because it can't even exist to begin with. DJT is an absolute genius. And if you think that this man actually folded up and threw in the towel, you better check yourself, because this is a guy that never surrenders. This is a guy that never gives up. This is a guy that never loses. And so enjoy the show means something that's far more extravagant and deep and powerful than anybody else could have imagined during this time of research that we've had in the year of 2020 with the whole entire COVID psyop. And yes, it is a COVID psyop created for the purpose of setting up the Great Reset, which is all about the vaccine having the nanochip, being able to take full control of the people, turning America into a communist nation, restricting everything with lockdowns and masks and all the above. But what's happening is Trump has already stepped down by way of Nesara and Gesara. Military is 100% in control. General Dunford and General Flynn are leading the way. D.C., District of Bail, is now a foreign country with foreign invasion and foreign nationalists existing on top of our soil. That's a no-no. Their corporation doesn't exist anymore. So they are in big trouble. Anyone in government, from local to state, any government officials, governors, all the way through Congress, the fraud was just a game to show the people. Stock market short squeeze is just a game to show the people how corrupt the system is in every possible way. Right? So Nesara Gesara is all about freedom. Returning to the U.S. Constitution of 1776. Going back to the gold standard. Going back to constitutional law in every aspect of our society. Prosperity. The death of debt in general. The plan is so brilliant that it could only be orchestrated by God. And if you've ever listened to Kim Clement, you can go back and check his prophecies about 2 presidents, how we would have darkness for a season, but then God would prosper our nation again. And he would do it in the spring. All of it's out there if you want to research it. Biden's illegitimate, obviously. That's why the military has DC surrounded. They went in under Congress into the tunnels, and what they found was absolutely horrific. Cover your ears if you don't want to hear the next few sentences, but they found dead children, blood everywhere, body parts, rats, roaches. The people that were managing the tunnels, they yanked them out, put them in buses, transported them to Gitmo, had to clean this absolutely astonishing scene up before they could do anything with the higher ups. So there's a bit of a delay. A lot of things have happened in the plan that weren't supposed to happen, but it's a battle of good versus evil. We all know that. We all feel it. Even the most dumbed down Democrats can see now that Joe Biden is a scary individual, and not even them would have ever signed up for what they're seeing now. It's all part of the plan. You're watching a movie. Not only that, you're in the movie, and you have been your entire life. That's what's so exciting. Family, we are living in the most exciting times in the history of the United States. And it's all about to come to a head. We're so close. I don't want to miss anything. Let me go over my train of thought. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and post in the chat what your questions are. And I'll do my best to answer them. But anyway, so we started out as a constitutional republic. We became a corporation. Corruption infiltrated every election. They were all the elections were rigged. The entire system of government and finance and judicial, whatever else you want to talk about, all corrupt. Election process, corrupt. Governments around the world, corrupt. Worldwide NW, oh my God, pushing, pushing, pushing. God sent 17 and DJT to clean up the mess, fix all of our problems, and get us moving forward with the way life was supposed to be before we were infiltrated. That's exciting. What's more exciting is we keep on confiscating more gold. The biggest helicopters we have in the military were sent to the Vatican to recover the gold under the Vatican, and it took them 650 trips to get back the gold that was ours to begin with. There is so much more gold under Fort Knox than you could ever fathom. There is so much more gold all over the world that belongs to us that you cannot fathom either. Part of Gesara is to corner the billionaires, corrupt billionaires, and seize all their assets. The CIA was raided, and we confiscated 30 trillion in cash from Soros, Clinton, Obama. The Italian government, who was most responsible for the election fraud, Trump made a deal with them. We ended up receiving $34 quadrillion from them in order to not allow them to go down in shame. We've seen CEOs all over the world stepping down, entire governments stepping down, as I said before. People, quote unquote, dying of COVID. And if you follow 17, we knew all these things were going to come. We just figured that the plan would go faster and it would be exactly what we wanted when we wanted it. But this is war, and during war, times change. You have to adjust according to what your opponent is doing. And they're not stupid. However, neither are we. And the beauty of COVID is we had an entire year to dig up anything and everything we could find about what was going on in the world and what Trump was trying to tell us when he first came on the scene, 15 years ago when he was on Oprah and did other interviews where he spoke of corruption. But he opens Pandora's box with Epstein, and now, oh my God, look where we have evolved when it comes to child trafficking and human trafficking and the other horrendous aspects of how deep the corruption is in the DS. And there are a few people out there talking about Nesara and Gesara, but I'm not sure that the general layman understands the magnitude of what we're talking about here. This is so huge that it would literally blow your mind. And I'm going to allow some of you to have your minds blown when I give you some rates here in a few minutes. First thing I want to do is go over, Nesara, what it is and how it affects you and I, and why 17 said the enormity of what's coming will shock the world. So, getting into it, we look at the first part of the Nesara. Stands for National Economic Security and Reformation Act, and the Gesara is global. But the first part of it is it forgives all debt due to illegal banking and government activities. Well, obviously, we know about that. What does that mean? What does it mean to us? It means you don't have any more debt. Your credit card debt is wiped out. Your car payment debt is wiped out. Your mortgage payment debt is wiped out. You don't owe taxes. You don't owe property taxes. You don't owe any other taxes whatsoever. The only thing we will be paying taxes on is when we place an order for something. In other words, we have a 14% tax on new items that we purchase. So the IRS will no longer exist. The U.S. Treasury Department controls everything financially. We go back to constitutional law in all courts and legal matters. Those who are on the streets robbing and stealing and doing drugs, and they just don't have a better way, they'll all be taken care of as well. They're going to be put in rehabs and allowed time to turn their lives around. So that's important. It establishes new presidential and congressional elections within 120 days after Nesara's announcement. Well, that was done on the 2nd of November, as I said. Four months from November 2nd, we've all heard dates. We'll see what happens, but either way, we're getting closer and closer and closer to those elections. Next part, you create a new U.S. Treasury rainbow currency that's backed by gold, silver, and platinum, and all precious metals. We keep on finding more gold, and we keep on confiscating and seizing assets from billionaires. So until that's completed, we won't know where all this is going to lead to. But I can give you some intel on the currencies that we were all given the secret for. Gesara seizes all aggressive U.S. government military actions globally and establishes worldwide peace. So there's not going to be any more wars. No more crime because there's no reason to steal. Criminals will be reformed instead of locked up. Life as we know it will change forever. Black, white, green, brown, it doesn't matter. Everybody will get along. It's all about love. It's all about being in fifth dimension consciousness and loving each other. As I said, it releases enormous sums of money for humanitarian purposes. And how that works is if you're holding the dinar, or you're holding the dong, or you're holding the Zimbabwe notes, or any of the other countries' currencies, the way things are going to work is you're going to be able to exchange those currencies so that you have your blessings and your wealth, and you'll have contract rates and consumer rates that are going to be a little bit different. But to excite you, I'll give you what I'm hearing. And it can change. Like I said, the more gold we confiscate and the more assets and more money we inject into the economy, the more valuable the currencies are going to be. Plus, God's in control, so it could be a lot higher than what I'm about to quote for you. But the Vietnamese dong, the consumer rate I'm hearing is anywhere from 50 cents per million up to 6, 8, $10 per million. The dinar's contract rate is anywhere from 16 to 20 million. Consumer rate anywhere from 8 to 12. Zim, oh, wow, 30 to 50 million dollars consumer to contract. So we're talking massive amounts of money for these currency holders. And then a couple cryptocurrencies will be used as transfer coins. I'm not going to reveal what they are, but they will go crazy too. The actual price of silver right now, before Gesara and Nesara are even declared, is just shy of $5,000. Gold is $50,000. Imagine what those are going to be once the new laws are rolled out. Prosperity packages, once they're released, $144,000 a month for each American. You can also take a one-time payout that's in the millions. The entire world will be dancing in the streets once the announcement is made. It will be a party like we've never seen before. The way it works is you exchange your currencies and set up your businesses that are going to contribute to the betterment of humanity. All fields, there will be projects. You sign up for those projects. If your currencies are set up with the contract rate, then a certain percentage of what you have has to be contributed towards your cost of goods and building materials and setup and things like that, just like any other business. But the entire purpose is making humanity a better place. And for the most part, you could pretty much say that Trump is president of the earth. Enables the release of initially over 6,000 patents of suppressed new technologies, including free energy devices, anti gravity, and sonic healing machines. You've heard about the med beds that are coming. But the patents, what we have and what Trump will release, you're going back to becoming a child again, starting all over without the unbelievable hardships that we've faced in this country, especially in the last 10 to 15 years. So this stuff is powerful. Like, excitement isn't even the word for it. There's just so much gold. There's so much oil, so much silver, so much platinum, and so much cash. The last I heard is the entire world wealth count is the number of 1 in 140 zeros. And most likely it's going to go higher than that. So, and people say, well, if everybody has all this money, they're not going to want to work. That's not true, because the quantum financial system, which is what is already implemented in every bank, it reads your frequency, it reads who you are, it reads your intentions. If you have bad intentions, you won't be able to use the currency. It's as simple as that. Oh, this is a cashless society, the new world. Oh my God, no, it's not. It's not what it is. You'll have cash. It's benevolent artificial intelligence. It's not evil or intrusive artificial intelligence. It's love, frequency, money, is basically how you want to say it. If you try to use it with bad intentions, the system shuts down and the money will be worth nothing. So, and it's not socialism. The military and Trump, they want us to have an abundance of everything, and that's what it's going to be. We're going to be more abundant than we ever dreamed we could ever be. If you look on YouTube for future technologies and you've seen some things, Every one of those things are out there and they're going to happen. Flying cars will be the norm. You'll see them everywhere. The underground train that was used for child trafficking will now be used for the right purposes. It goes 228, I'm sorry, yeah, 228 miles an hour and gets you from DC to London in an hour and a half. So those types of trains will be on top of the earth and not inside the earth. Incredible ways of travel, new inventions, medical procedures that the word medical won't even be a part of life anymore. Hospitals won't exist, they'll be called sanctuaries. Corrupted land, corrupted buildings will all be torn down. DC most likely will be bulldozed. Life as we know it will change forever. We are infinite beings filled with light. God said, "Let there be light." And there was light, and it was good. And we are made in His image. He is love and light. That's what we are. This is not new age, this is true age. This is 5D consciousness where we all need to ascend to. Many of us are still locked in 3D mindsets, and that's not where you want to be right now. You want to be on the right timeline that pays no attention to the farce of the presidency of the defunct corporation. Take your ass off of Fox News and all the other total trash networks that are designed to keep you in 3D consciousness, full of anger, resentment, and all the other emotions that accompany them. Those of us in 5D, we don't watch that crap. We focus on how to become better people. We focus on nature. We focus on animals. We focus on always having a smile, always being excited, always helping others wake up. Most of us were purged off of Facebook and Twitter and all social media. Why? Because we were that effective against the establishment and big tech. Not because we're not. They're scared to death of us. So if you've been part of the movement, give yourself a pat on the back and don't worry about anything. Nothing can stop what's coming is not just a catchphrase, and we're almost there. Go back and study Kim Clement's prophecies. Find out what Castle Rock is. Find out the truth about why our military is in D.C. locking down the entire country of the District of Columbia. Pay attention to what's happening around the world. Life as we know it will never be the same. We've been indoctrinated to believe in corruption, lies, fake news, fake stories. Everything in the Matrix has been a joke, and it's the movie The Matrix was not fiction, it was a documentary. You've been lied to about everything. People are starting to wake up and see it. We'll all come together soon. Both parties, black, white, green, brown, purple, every aspect of gender. We the people are we the people. We're a family. They've kept us divided, but they're not going to be able to keep us that way. Especially now we're awake. All this evidence will come out very soon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to answer all of your questions if you post them in the comments section. My career, what I do for a living, is I'm a manifest coach. That's not very well known in the United States, but it is in Britain and certain areas of Europe. And essentially, it's using your light body, cleansing and purifying your chakras so that the light can come in. You know how it says in Matthew that if thine eye be single, let it be full of light. And if thine eye is full of light, then the body will be full of light. Well, that's a fact. And what happens is you allow the light to come in and you become a magnet. And as that magnetic force becomes routine to you, then anything and everything that you've ever wanted or desired is forced to come to you by way of the power of God, the Holy Spirit, and the words that you speak. And one thing I want to point out is everybody always says, oh, that's New Age. No, listen to me. In the Bible, where it says, you shall say to this mountain, be thou removed and be thou cast into the sea. Notice something. It doesn't say ask God to move your mountain. It says you say it. You tell that mountain to move. You tell that car to come to you. You tell that $10,000 to invest in currencies before Nesara Gesara to come to you. You tell that healing it's yours. You tell that family member to get off of drugs and come back, and it's done. The Bible's been taught wrong. We've been told that we have no power. We have all the power. We are God's spark of light, created in His image, able to do exactly what He's able to do. So I'm putting off my career to be able to help you guys manifest what you need to be able to grab what currencies, precious metals that you can get your hands on so that your wealth is that of Solomon. So anything and everything your heart's desired in your entire life now will be yours. And normally I make hundreds of dollars an hour. Thousands a month per client. But I'm being called by God to do what I need to do to help my YouTube family. And that's what I'm going to do. So I just ask, I've got the PayPal button in the description. If it's not too much trouble, I'd appreciate some donations, a couple bucks here and there. It doesn't matter. Anything will help, but it will basically pay for the resources that I'm using to get this information out there to you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give free techniques for manifestation, the types of exercises that I use when I do my sessions. I'm going to give all this stuff away for free to you guys every single day. I've had people win the lottery. Had a guy win, or not win, but had a guy land a $5,000 paint job for his company when he hadn't had any work in a month and was getting a second job, was so depressed he could hardly stand it. Girlfriend problems, all the above, kids, everything turned around in a split second, just like that. People have actually stood inside their dream homes. I have a proven track record in every aspect of this business. But it's not about me, it's about God, and it's about you guys. It's about love. I love everyone. I want to help everyone. I've spent my life giving. So if you have any questions, first let me take you to my BitChute channel. Not sure if you can see it, but it's a thumbnail that you've already seen. Nesara, Gesara, The Truth, narrated by an American Patriot. I'll be back soon. The other one is 5D Light Body Activation, Manifesting Class, Free Techniques. It's all about relaxation, meditation, prayer, But I do some fun things and I have my own style that other manifesting coaches don't have. We'll do it every day. It'll take about 30 minutes, maybe a little longer, but I promise you, you'll feel like $1,000,000. You won't pay any attention whatsoever to the bad things you see in the world. You'll focus completely on manifesting Nesara and Gesara. That's what happens. We have to create that. We have to create our own reality through our God spark by the level of our faith. It's up to us. We're almost there because enough of us have been on that timeline and on that right path. And Jesus said, the kingdom of God is within you. Many of us know that you have to go within your heart. You have to get rid of all your traumas. You have to do things that you never thought you'd have to do in prayer and fellowship by yourself. You have to love yourself before you can love anybody else. And that's what Nesara and Gesara are all about, is love. Pure love on earth. All evil removed. Positive forces. Positive breeds positive. Trump will be our leader, but he won't be looking, down over the top of us trying to rule us in every way. It's not like that. It's going to be, we are sovereign individuals that govern ourselves for the most part. Power back to the people. It's what he's all about. It's what he's always been about. Nothing will ever change that. Life is good. Just say it. Keep on telling yourself life is good. Life is good. Life is good. Speak positively about yourself. Love yourself. Give to others. Spend the rest of your day figuring out what you can do to help someone. Call your mother. Tell you love her. Get out in nature. Absorb the leaves and the trees and the birds and the animals. Take pictures. Run. Exercise outdoors. Forget all this mask BS. Raise your vibration by being outside and being in nature. Spend more time in places that you're free. And don't worry about if your job is a pain in the butt right now, because you won't have a job in the future. You'll own your own business doing exactly what you want to do. Holding space of love for everyone that you're helping. It's pretty crazy, but it's the way life was supposed to be. Don't blame God. He had nothing to do with it. There is a devil and evil forces got put in places that we unfortunately allowed, and it got worse and worse and worse. And the bubble burst. And now we're in a season of darkness that will be quickly replaced by the light at the end of the tunnel. I want to love you, encourage you, make you better people, teach you things that you've never known before. When you finish watching this video, go buy a lottery ticket. Say, I'm going to win this $100. Manifest that first. Ticket with my $100 on it, come to me now. Go get it. That's prayer. Call the things that be not as though they were. You just tell it to come to you, and it has no other law that keeps it from coming to you when your chakras are cleansed and purified and your light is on. I promise you it works. And the comment section will be filled with success stories in the future. I can guarantee you they will. So every day, I'll go live with a new technique and a new exercise. We'll get together. You just repeat after me. Visualize the things that I'm speaking about. There'll be some prayers. But it's all about helping you, my fellow brothers and sisters, who are becoming my YouTube family. And like I said, if you have any questions, just put them in the comments. And every day before the video begins, I'll answer your questions and then we'll start the exercises. But dear God, I thank you for each and every individual that's hearing my voice and paying attention to my videos. Touch their hearts. Show them that real men still exist. And that love is what's important. Love really is the only substance in the universe. Everything else works off of love, or the opposition to love is all the corruption and murder and trafficking and all the other things that go with what 17 shares. But I love every one of you guys, and I can't wait to hear how excited you are. And I can't wait to hear your success stories, and I can't wait to hear the uplifting spirit that you now have because you know a little bit more about Nesara than you did before, or Gesara. It's beautiful. It really is. And with that, we'll go ahead and end this live stream. Do me a favor, if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, smash the likes. Let's get this movement started. It's going to be so much fun. You won't be able to contain yourselves once you start listening to these videos daily. How much energy you're going to have, healing from different whatever it is that's bothering you, mentally, physically, emotionally, doesn't matter. All those things are going to go away. And then we'll ride it out until the big bomb drops. DJT returns exactly as we know he would. It's all gravy, baby. Thanks again for joining me. What a long, strange trip it's been, but it's only going to get better. 2 o'clock tomorrow. I'll see you again. Love you guys. Have a great night. Peace.